Good morning, class. Here we start with our new chapter, chapter number 6. Name of the chapter is Physical and Chemical Changes. As we all can see, different type of changes around us, like dissolving sugar in water, formation of curd from milk, souring of milk, cooking of food, cutting a piece of paper, stretching a rubber band, melting of ice, melting of wax, boiling of water, rusting of iron, burning of candle, wood or coal, fruit ripening, weather changing, seed germination, etc. All are different type of changes. There are many type of changes, just desirable or undesirable changes, slow and fast changes, temporary and permanent changes. Some changes are reversible and some are irreversible. Physical and chemical changes. In this chapter, we will discuss about physical and chemical changes. Physical change is a change in which no new substance is formed. On the other hand, the chemical change is a change in which new substances are formed. Here are some examples of physical and chemical changes. Cutting paper. Cutting a paper does not result in the formation of new substance. That's why it is a physical change. Stretching of rubber band is also a physical change. Ice water is also a physical change. Evaporation of water is a physical change. Similarly, burning wood or coal, iron rusting, and the formation of food all are examples of chemical changes. Now come to our topic, which is physical change. Now study the physical change in detail. If the physical property of the substance changes, it means it is a physical change. Now, the question arises, what is the physical change? What is the physical property of a substance? Properties such as shape, size, color, and state of a substance are called its properties or its physical properties. A physical change alters the form of a substance but does not change it to another substance. Physical change may change the shape or size of a substance. It may dissolve the substance or it changes phase like freezes, boiling, evaporation, condensation, crystallization, etc. For example, making orange juice by squeezing an orange. Squeezing an orange just change its property, physical property, but does not change its chemical nature. Now come to the next slide. Physical changes occur when matter change its property but not its chemical nature, as we discussed earlier in the example of orange juice. Physical property changes could include change in texture, shape, size, color, odor, volume, mass, weight, and density. Now come to the example. It is a water and it is an ice. Ice and water are two different forms of water. Water in glass is the liquid state of water, but water in the form of ice is the solid form of water. In this, only the states are interchanged. That's why it is a physical change, because the chemical nature of water and ice are same. Now come to another example, which is cutting paper. If we cut a paper, we form small size paper from the larger one. All the pieces of paper have same chemical property. That's why it is considered under physical change. Similarly, melting ice, as we discussed earlier, we easily convert water into ice by freezing, and the ice can easily be converted into water by melting or heating. Water and ice are interchangeable forms, but the chemical nature of water and ice are same. That's why it is a physical change. Physical changes are mostly reversible. It means they can be reverted to its original form, as in case of ice. Ice can easily be converted into water, and the water is easily converted to ice. So, both the forms are reversible. Now, come to our next topic, which is chemical change. A chemical change occurs when two or more than two chemical substances react to form a new product. The product have an entirely different set of properties, or the chemical changes are changes matter undergoes when it becomes new or different matter or substance. It burns, temperature change without heating, It bubbles, it changes color, it forms precipitation. All are signs of chemical changes. Now come to the next slide. When a substance undergo a chemical change, it is changed into a different substance with different properties. To identify a chemical change, look for signs. There are some signs which indicates it is a chemical change like bubbling and fizzing, light production, color changing, smoke and presence of heat. All are the signs of chemical changing. Example, baking a cake. Once we bake a cake, we cannot change it to its raw material. That's why it is a chemical change. Because once we bake a cake, we change the chemical property of the raw material which is used to form cake. These cake show the bubbling and temperature increase and color changing. All are the signs of chemical changing. Now come to our next slide. Signs of a chemical change. First one is precipitation. Some solid substance are formed and collected at the bottom of liquid form. These solid particles are known as precipitation. Second one is color changing. So generally we can see the color changing of leaves. The aged leaves are of different color from that of newly formed leaves. This is due to the chemical change. Next sign is gas production. Some reactions produce gas. Simply the burning of candle produce carbon dioxide. It is the example of chemical change. Third one is temperature change. Simply when we cook a food, the temperature of food is very high and the temperature of vegetable is normal. It means formation of food from the vegetable is a chemical change. It shows the signs, different signs like temperature change, color change, taste change, etc. A chemical change occurs when fireworks are used. Fireworks are made up of metals such as magnesium and copper. These change chemically as they light up the sky. They also produce heat. They show lightning. All are signs of chemical change. Here are some other examples of chemical change. First one is sugar dissolving in tea. Next is logs burning or wood burning. When we burn a log or a wood or a paper, it produces light, heat change the color, and all these signs shows it is a chemical change. Similarly, if we break the water into its component, we all know the chemical formula of water is H2O. It contains hydrogen atom and oxygen atom. If we break the water into hydrogen and oxygen, it is a chemical change because the property of hydrogen and the property of hydrogen and oxygen are different, and the property of water is different. That's why it is a chemical change. Next is toast burning. Toast burning is also a chemical change because it shows temperature change, color change, and the chemical property of the toast is also changed. Next and the most important example of chemical change is metal rusting. As you all are familiar with metal or iron rusting, you all can see the different iron objects in your houses which contains a brownish layer on it. This brownish layer is known as rust. Simply, if we leave a piece of iron in the open, it acquires a film of brownish substance. This substance is called rusting, and the process to acquire this brownish layer or rust is called rusting. Rust is chemically different from iron. Iron react with oxygen and water and form rust. It is a chemical change because it shows the chemical property different from the iron, and also the color of rust is different from normal iron. Next example is candle burning. Burning candle is included under both chemical and physical changes because the melting of wax is a physical change because only the state of wax is changed from solid to semi-solid, but the chemical nature of the wax remain same. But the burning of candle, lighting of candle is a chemical change because it produces CO2, carbon dioxide. That's why it is included under both changes. Now come to the next slide, which is your classwork. Your classwork contains 3 questions. These questions are from your book. First question is, explain why burning of wood and cutting it into small pieces are considered as 2 different type of changes. You already knows, as we discussed earlier, the burning of wood produces light, heat, temperature change, color change. That's why it is a chemical change. But the cutting of wood into smaller pieces does not change its chemical property. That's why it is included under physical change. Cutting of wood is a physical change as it does not change the nature of the wood. On the other hand, burning of wood is a chemical change as wood is converted to charcoal with the liberation of carbon dioxide. It means it is clear it is a chemical change, but the cutting of wood is a physical change. Next question is identify the change. First one is tear up paper. Tear up paper produce small pieces of paper, but the chemical property of the paper remain same. That's why it is a physical change. Second one is mix salt and water. Once we mix salt in water, we easily get salt back by evaporating water. It means the chemical property of salt and water remain same. That's why it is a physical change. Third one is burning paper. Once we burn anything like paper, wooden piece or anything, we cannot convert it back to its original form, or it also produces heat, temperature changing, some gases, etc. All are signs of chemical changing. Chemical change. That's why it is a chemical change. Third one is mixes vinegar and baking soda. When we mix baking soda in vinegar, it produces CO2 gas. The evolution of gas is the sign of chemical change. That's why it is a chemical change. Now come to your next question, which is when a candle burns, both physical and chemical changes take place. Identify these changes. Give another example of a familiar process in which both the chemical and physical changes take place. As we discussed earlier, burning candle shows both the changes. The candle burning physical change is the melting of wax, and the chemical change is the burning of gas with the evolution of CO2 or carbon dioxide. Another example is digestion of food. Once we take food, firstly we break the food particle into smaller one. It is a physical process. When the food enters in our stomach, it is digested with the help of enzymes and HCl. This is a chemical process. Means the physical process is the breakdown of larger food molecule to simpler ones or smaller ones. The chemical change is the digestion of food by the action of HCl and enzymes. This is your classwork. Now come to your homework. Your homework also contains 3 questions. First question is, state whether the following statements are true or false. First statement is, cutting a log of wood into pieces is a chemical change. Is it true or false? Second statement is, formation of manure from leaves is a physical change. Is it true or false? Find out. Now come to your next question, which is, how would you show that setting of curd is a chemical change? We already discussed what is physical change and what is chemical change. On the basis of explanation, you easily recollect the answer of this question. Now come to the third question. It is, fill in the blanks. It contains 2 fill in the blanks. First one is, change in which only dash properties of a substance changes are called physical change. It is simply a definition. You just answer the correct option in blank space. Next question is, change in which substance are formed are called dash change. You have to fill the blank space with the correct option. So this is your homework. Thank you. I hope you understand the topic. Thank you. Thank you so much.